let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you been in an English conversation, your mind goes blank, and suddenly you're stuck in that awful silence? You know exactly what you want to say in your native language, but the English, words just won't come out. That frustrating moment when you can feel the other person waiting, and the more you panic, the harder it becomes to speak. I want you to know something crucial right from the start. This isn't about your intelligence or even your English level. Some of the most brilliant non-native speakers struggle with this exact problem. The truth is, pausing happens because of how your brain has learned to process English, not because of your ability. And today we're going to completely rewire that process together. Understanding why we pause. Let's break down what's actually happening in your brain when you experience those pauses. Imagine your mind is like a busy international airport. When you think in your native language, it's like a direct flight, straight from thought to speech. But when you switch to English, suddenly there's a layover. Your thought lands in your native language terminal, then gets transferred to the English translation terminal before finally taking off as speech. No wonder it takes so long. There are three main reasons for these pauses. The translation trap, where you're constantly converting from your native language. The perfection paradox, where you're so afraid of mistakes that you freeze. The vocabulary vortex, where you know the word but just can't access it quickly enough. The instant fluency technique. Here's a powerful exercise you can start doing right now, today, that will begin changing how your brain processes English. I call it direct connection. For the next 24 hours, I want you to practice this. Every time you see a common object, a table, a car, a tree, I want you to say its English name out loud immediately. Not as a translation from your native language, but as a direct observation. You're not saying mesa means table. You're looking at the object and saying table directly. This simple practice starts building new neural pathways that bypass translation. Filler phrases. That sound natural. Now let's talk about those moments when you do get stuck, because it will happen even as you improve. Native speakers don't just go silent when they're thinking. They use what we call conversation maintainers. These are phrases that buy you thinking time, keep the conversation flowing, make you sound more natural. Try these three essential ones. Well, let me think about that for a second. That's an interesting question. You know, I was just thinking about this the other day. Practice saying these out loud right now. Notice how they give you that crucial extra second to gather your thoughts without the awkward silence. The shadowing revolution. One of the most powerful techniques I've found is called shadowing. Here's how it works. Find a short audio clip, 1 to 2 sentences of clear English speech. Listen carefully to the rhythm and tone. Immediately repeat it out loud. Trying to match everything, the speed, the pauses, even the emotion. This does something remarkable. It trains your brain to process English in chunks rather than word by word. Start with just 5 minutes a day of this, and you'll notice changes in your fluency surprisingly quickly. Building your mental phrase book, think about how you learned to say, "How are you?" You didn't piece it together word by word. You learned it as a complete phrase. We need to do this with hundreds of common expressions. Here's how. Identify situations you often encounter. Ordering food, work meetings, etc. Find 3 to 5 standard phrases for each. Practice them until they feel automatic. For example, in a restaurant, "Could I see the menu, please?" "I'll have the..." "Could I get this to go?" The 1-minute fluency challenge. Here's your daily practice that will transform your speaking. Set a timer for 60 seconds. Choose a simple topic. Your job, your family, your hobbies. Speak continuously until the timer goes off. No. Pauses allowed. If you get stuck, use a filler phrase. Describe what you mean in simpler terms. Keep going no matter what. This trains your brain to think in English under pressure. Exactly what happens in real conversations. Your 7-day fluency action plan, let me give you a clear roadmap for the next week. Day 1 to 2, practice the direct connection technique with 20 objects. Daily day 3-4, add shadowing practice with 5 minutes of audio day 5-6. Implement filler phrases in all your English conversations. Day 7, combine everything in a 2-minute continuous speaking challenge. The mindset shift. Remember, fluency isn't about perfect grammar or knowing every word. It's about communication. Even native speakers make mistakes, forget words, and rephrase things constantly. The difference is they keep the conversation moving forward. Starting today, give yourself permission to make mistakes. Use simple words when needed. Ask for clarification. Take your time. That moment when words flow effortlessly. When you're expressing yourself without constantly searching for words is absolutely within your reach. It's not about talent or luck. It's about training your brain with the right techniques consistently. Your English fluency journey starts right now. Take a deep breath, pick one technique from today's lesson, and begin. I'll be here cheering you on every step of the way. Would you like me to add specific examples for business English or social situations? Or perhaps adjust the length for a shorter but longer format?